Welcome back. Well, India lost one of its biggest icons, an industry legend, last night. Ratan Tata, chairman emeritus of Tata Sons, who led a modest, unassuming life, was laid to rest with state honours in Mumbai in the presence of all his loved ones and every individual whose life was touched by a gentle soul like him. I want to quickly go across to Niranjan Hiranandani, co-founder and MD Hiranandani Group, joining us this evening for a very special chat, a very special interaction in remembrance of Mr. Ratan Tata. Mr. Niranjan Hiranandani, many thanks for joining us here on CNN News 18. Mr. Ratan Tata was a dear friend to you. You also invested, in one of his projects. So you've been business partners, if I may say. We know the greatness of Mr. Ratan Tata. We've been speaking about it all day long, as a mentor, a leader, a great human being. But you must share some anecdotes with us about, his stories, his life so far, a special memory, a fond memory that you shared with him.
A unique human being. Everything which he did in greatness in terms of industry, of course, was superpower excellence. But I think his self and his persona is something very different. Humility was across the board. He's never found that the power, the position, the wealth that he and his group had never touched him at all. But so many things about his humanity came out so differently. 2018, a story I can relate. He was invited by Prince Philip to be awarded in Buckingham Palace an award for all the charity and industry that he has been doing. At the last moment, he cancelled the trip. Everybody was very worried. Mr. Ratan Tata, is he unwell to cancel such an important invitation by Prince Philip in Buckingham Palace? The truth came out when it was known that Mr. Ratan Tata could not leave India because his pet dog was unwell and he couldn't bear to leave his dog, who was not keeping well, to go for an award to Buckingham Palace. We don't care for people. Forget caring for a dog. People don't care for siblings, they don't care for their parents, they don't care for anybody. But here, a great man, his humanity is something you can be admirable for. This is something which is unique, I found in a person like him, and tremendous number of other stories. Even as late as August of this year, last month, 2 months, 3 months ago, I got an invitation from him for joining Tata Parkinson Foundation. My father had Parkinson, he knew about it. He had Parkinson. And he decided that even though he was unwell, even though he has been not keeping too good, he decided to set up this foundation trust in order to do something for people afflicted by Parkinson. And he requested me to join. So we have set up a new trust of which he was a chair. Even at 86, even at this point of time in life, he decided to do for people. He wanted to give back and give back. You know about his cancer work, you know about his other charities, and the Tata Trust doing almost 60% of the wealth income is spent on charities in India. But have you ever seen a single time that he would show off about it? Never. Not a single time would he voice the great work that he was doing. He took it in a stride. He took it off his shoulders of a cuff, which had great meaning to him. So really a different aspect about an industrialist, a leader. And when you hear about the other side of this man, you think he's a Mahatma. So, I mean...
more so because, Mr. Niranjan Hiranandani, if you think about the larger picture, wealth often distances the powerful from the common people, from the poor. But that was not the case with him. He was so very grounded, and the manner in which people today poured out their love for him on the streets of Mumbai is testament to that fact.
Absolutely. And I think he was well deserving. I mean, he came home for dinner, and I remember 6 months later, he'd say, please tell Mrs. Kamal that, the food that I had in your house, I enjoyed it so much. I mean, he would have that little things to say which would touch the hearts of people. And the fact that he would remember those things, those little things were also remembered by this great man who was running industry, business, charity, this all across the world, taking over Air India on one side, back into the fold, and acquiring companies in London, in England, the automobile, the Chorus Group in Europe, and at the same time being humble. I haven't
And
seen
since
many,
you've known him personally,
I have never seen anybody so big and great and yet so humble and down
and
to
what
earth.
what was the mantra there though, Mr. Niranjan? Because having seen so many ups and downs as a businessman, as a human being, one tends to come across several setbacks in life, and that was the case with him as well. What was it in him that he was able to bounce back in no time and with such grace? Because you've known him personally, is why I'm asking.
Well, to be honest, I think there was an innate honesty about him that he believed to live the way he thought he should live. We all think of an ideal, but we can't live it. He thought of an ideal and actually lived it. This is something very beautiful. We are aspirational in many thoughts, like we want to be moneyed people. So, but we will not be wanting to be moneyed and humble. You want to be moneyed and a show off. He didn't bother, and he was giving, and he didn't want to praise for that purpose. So he would never say, I mean, he would take all the charity which is done by Tata Trust for granted. It looked as if, it's part of his life. So what? What is so big about...
He set the right example in so many ways, Mr. Niranjan. Appreciate you taking out your time and sharing these very special stories with us. Thank you for speaking to us. With that, we come to the end of this edition of The Right Stand. Thanks for watching, viewers. Over to Zaka Jacob for the brass tacks.